Today we are going to learn abstract classes. So what is abstract classes and why we need to use? So those concepts we are going to learn from this session. So abstract classes is mainly for hiding internal implementation, and it's mainly you can get maintainability and security also. So how you can get those abilities? So usually abstract classes there is one keyword, that is abstract keyword. So also call it as this keyword abstract is a modifier also. So people will call it as abstract is a modifier or a keyword. So this abstract keyword can apply for class and method. So you can't apply abstract for variables and constructors. So whenever you are going to apply abstract for a class, so that class will be having the combination of concrete methods and normal methods. In the previous session, we see what is the meaning of concrete method, okay, and normal method. Usually, normal method means it will be having an implementation. So, concrete method means it don't have a implementation. It will be apply. Abstract is the keyword. So whenever it don't have any implementation to the method and simply declare it into the class, such kind of method is called it as a concrete method. And a normal method will be having implementation. Okay, so these two kind of methods we can write it in the abstract classes. There is no mandatory to write normal methods in the abstract class. It's up to you. Up to you. If it is required, you can do it. Usually, normal methods is going to be write whatever the child classes is required a common feature, okay, common service to the child classes. Let's take the parent class is having one method with implementation. So the same kind of implementation is required for the child classes, child class 1, child class 2, child class 3. So in that scenario, you can use it this normal method implementation in abstract classes. We'll see one example for that. Just a minute. So whatever the parent class you are going to write it, let's take the parent class parent. So just we discuss, we can apply abstract to the parent class level. Let's take this is my normal class, parent is the class. So here whatever the abstract class you are going to say, it should apply abstract to the class level. So abstract is the keyword. So when you are going to apply this abstract, that means this parent class is having the abstract ability. So internally you can write both the concrete and normal method. Let's write one normal method, public void. So let's take it as a land is the implementation. So this is having one statement, statement 1. So this kind of method is called as a normal method. So this don't have any abstract keyword. If you see, this don't have any abstract keyword. The next thing is we are going to write a concrete method, public void. So here you should apply abstract void. Let's take it as a house is one of the method, but this method don't have the implementation and it has only abstract keyword applied. So the difference between these two means it has the implementation. So whoever the child is going to be use this parent class, they should provide the implementation for this particular abstract method. They don't need to be provide the implementation for this land. If they want, they can use this implementation. If they don't want this implementation, they can simply reuse this implementation into the child class, but child class should apply the implementation for this house. So what is the benefit here? So if you are just declaring it parent and you are giving child class for implementation, so the main advantage here is whatever the method you are going to write it, it should use the same structure to the child classes. Okay, that means whatever the return type and a method name, okay, so that same format they are going to be used across all the child classes. So that is one of the uniform related structure they are going to follow. And as well as in future it is going to be easily maintainable. Let's take if any changes happen in the parent level, so they are going to be follow the same structure. And another thing is security will be applicable. Let's take when you are calling this house method from child related, you can simply call from parent object with the house, okay, with the child object reference. So in that case, whoever using that reference, okay, they don't want to be so in that scenario you are not going to be exposed who is the child is giving this service. Okay, so that we will see in little bit later. So in this case we have two methods, one is normal and another one is concrete method. So child class, whenever the child class is going to be used this feature, let's write it to child class set here, public class child one. So here whoever is using this parent, they should use extend. Okay, the same concept we learn in inheritance, extends parent. So then parent whatever the abilities is having, that abilities is going to be applied to the child level. So now you can simply use it. The land you don't, if you don't want to be change anything, okay, so you can reuse it. But only one thing, whatever the concrete method, that implementation is required, that's must, you should provide the implementation. What happened if you are not providing the implementation for abstract methods which is coming from parent? If you are not providing any implementation, so then your child class also is going to be changed as a abstract class. Okay, so that is one of the condition you should remember. Like a parent is having concrete method, so this concrete method you are not going to be provide any implementation in your child class, so then this child class will be changing as a abstract class. So if you are not going to provide implementation, you are saying that whoever is using my child class to the next one, next level, they should provide implementation. Until you provide the implementation, all the classes, whoever is extending these classes, they will be abstract classes. Okay, that is one thing. The next thing is whatever you are going to write it to variables, you can write the variables the combination like non-final, final, constants. Okay, so whenever you are going to write a variable, if you apply as a final, that means that is a constant related. Constant means you are not going to be change again and again. The final means there is no change after that. Once you initialize the value, that value is going to be applied across all the areas. That is the main significance of the final. Okay, so let's finish this method, whatever you are going to call it, this house method. So public void house. So here I'm going to be provide some implementation. Just a minute. So here it's another statement 2. So then close the implementation and close the class. So if you see this land related information, you are not going to implement it here. You are just reusing. When you make the object, okay, so how you can make the object? In main method, public static void main. Let's take another class, public class my class. So here, public static void main string aux. So when you're making the object, usually you can do it in child, directly child object, new child one of. You can write this way also, but this approach is not suggestible when you are extending with the parent. So what you need to do? So in this scenario, let's take, if you are trying to access it, child one dot land. Okay, so you want to get a parent object, whatever the implementation is having. So here it will say unable to identify this land method. So usually when you try this approach, its maintainability also is not possible. So that is the reason what you can do. When you are making the object, better to create instance with the parent, then you can call it both, like parent implementation and child implementation. So parent dot land and then parent dot house. So here both the implementations you can able to achieve. So land is coming from parent implementation and house is coming from child implementation. So in this approach you can use both of them. If you are going to use it with a child object, only this ability you can get it, but this ability you are not going to be achieved. That is one of the way you can make the object. And another thing is, later point, okay, there is another child class. Instead of that child 1, if you wanted to be switched to child 2, okay, so then you don't need to be touch these two implementations. Okay, so land and house, child 2 also is having house is implementation. So you can simply change the instance. Earlier child 1 is there, now change it to child 2. So child 2 object data is going to be, wherever it is used, you don't need to be touch this rest of the code, because these methods is calling from parent object. Okay, so that is one of the maintainability will be applicable when you make the object, the child object with the parent reference. Okay, so that is one thing should keep in mind. And another thing is variables, how it is going to be variable in the whatever it is there in parent class, you can get it in the child class. Anyway it is having the extent, only certain limitations like final related, private, those kind of things, it's not going to be accessible in child. Okay, other than that everything you can able to be access it. So abstract, this is one of the example, just we seen that. Let's finish java program. Okay, let me write it one program, the same whatever I was explained, I'm going to be writing it here. Let's go back to the previous one, whatever we have. This is the father related class we have. So if you remember, a is equal to 10, house. Okay, uh, I don't think so this will be reusable to us. Let's write it one example with the same abstract related. Abstract, I'm just giving as a parent cls. Okay, so abstract cls parent. So here this is normal class, this is not the abstract class. When you apply abstract, abstract is the keyword, so then this class get the abstract behavior. So now public, I'm just writing one of the method void land. Okay, so here it's having the implementation system.out.println paddy craft. Okay, so that land is having paddy craft. So now this particular normal implementation is going to be used for child. Let's define one abstract method. Public abstract, I'm writing void house. So house is the another method. If you see here, abstract is going to be apply method level and class level. If you are trying for, let's take int a equal to 100. Let's take 1000. So this a is equal to 1000. If you apply abstract, you will get a compile time error because abstract is not going to be applied for variables. Okay, so that is one limitation you should remember. The next thing is I'm going to write one implementation for child class. Okay, so let's put it abstract child one cls. So this is a child class. So this child class, to get parent ability, what you need to do, extends abstract parent class. If you see, it's giving an error. What is that error? If you place this, what it is saying, class abstract child class must either be declare abstract or implement abstract method because house in abstract parent class. So mainly it is saying that parent class is having house method, which is abstract modifier applied for that. So child class should implement that. Otherwise, it will be giving error. If you place the cursor, see this implement method. If I select it, it is saying house method you have to be implement. See like this. There is no compilation error now. So it's overriding. I just few minutes back I said whatever abstract methods is coming from parent, you have to be implemented. Okay, so we are already implemented. That's what there is no errors in parent and child classes. So now this method, when you implement, this class is going to change it as a normal method. Let's take this is also you are not implementing. So then your class will be having abstract ability. You need to change it to abstract. If you're not implementing parent method, parent abstract method in child class, this also you should change it to abstract. Otherwise, compiler is going to give it compile time error. Okay, so let's for time being uncomment it. Let's implement something. Sys out house. Just put it as a house one. So now my parent class is having land and child class is having house method implementation. So this one, when you're going to call it, so public static void main, how you can make the object? You can make the object in child class. Let's create the child class object first. Okay, instead of parent, let's see the difference. Abstract child class, new abstract child class of. If you see the abstract child class reference, so how many you have? Land and house. Okay, so land is coming from parent, house is coming from child. But this approach, it's a not at all good way to proceed because your implementation is going to be visible. Like when whoever is using this reference, they can easily identify that this child, this particular instance is for related to child. Okay, so there is no proper security and as well as the maintainability also is not suggest is not going to be get it in future. So what you need to do, better to change it to parent instance. So abstract parent, so here you can change it to proper naming convention. Okay, so parent abstract parent. Now you can use that land abstract class dot house. So now I have both the implementations. If I run this program, I can get it both of them. So parent related implementation and a child related implementation. So this is the way you can reuse the code. Okay, whatever the parent is having, this information is going to be reused to the child. Let's try to access this variable in child class. So now abstract parent dot a. So this one, let's display this out. So I can able to reuse it. So now this 1000 is coming from parent class. Okay, so this is the way you can handle with the abstract classes. Okay,